I'm Tara Monster, and I like to make things. 2020 is almost over, and good riddance. I made some commemorative ornaments for my friends and family so that years from now we can look back and say, wow, we made it through that. Introducing the coronavirus and the 2020 We Did Our Best Gold Star Ornaments. It was the perfect excuse for me to bust out my Glowforge Laser Cutter. I'm going to show you my creation process from start to finish on how I made these, beginning with making the art in Illustrator to optimizing it for the Glowforge, all the way to printing these and wrapping them and sending them on their way. And yes, my shirt was made by me. Link below in the description for a 20% off coupon. And now, let's get crafting! The first step was to start with an Adobe Illustrator file, a new file. I made the artboard size the same exact size of the piece of wood I'm going to be putting into my laser cutter. And then I made sure to set up guides. So the first ornament I want to make is kind of an inside joke about 2020 that I've had with my friends this year. 2020, we did our best. And I thought that a star shape would just be perfect to kind of, like the gold star you used to get when you were a kid. I'm going to just do a little design in here that says 2020. And I went ahead and measured one of the ornaments I currently have, and it's 3 inches. So I'm just going to make a rectangle that's 3 by 3, put my star in there, and make it that same size. Always hold shift when you scale to make sure it's a uniform scale. And there, so both points fit inside. So that's close enough to 3 inches for me. And I'm going to just move this, be up near my guides. And then I want to have like a little bit cooler font. Let's try this one. It's kind of a cool handwritten font. And since it's going to be an ornament, we want to make sure we do a little hole in the top. And it's really important with Glowforge artwork files that you use a stroke that is the smallest possible stroke. Never do anything bigger than that, because the cut lines are only going to cut that thickness. They only have one thickness that they cut. And so you want that to be that smallest thickness. And you also want to make sure that you just have enough of your material around your holes that it has integrity. Just imagine like a 3-inch ornament with a little piece of jute or ribbon going through it. It's approximately going to be the size of the hole. That's looking pretty good. I'm just going to make sure that everything is centered. This little guy here. Okay, so everything is centered. I think I'm going to move these down a bit. And now to make sure that everything is ready for the laser cutter, it's really important that with any type you have, you convert it to outlines. So go to type and create outlines. And that way it doesn't matter if Glowforge doesn't have this font, etc. It will translate. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. So now we have our first ornament. And I want to do another one that is kind of a coronavirus reference. I know my friends and family will think that it's funny to be able to commemorate the event. It's something you'll look back on, many, many Christmases from now and laugh about, hopefully. I have a couple images of what the little coronavirus looks like. This one's my favorite, so I'm just going to do that. And these are just little clip arts I got off the internet. I'm going to go ahead and live trace this. And that looks pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and expand. And then I just want it to be the outline. I'm gonna have no fill. And we'll shrink it down to be about the same size as our other one. And again, we want our lines to be the smallest possible. I'm just gonna take this guy here. This will be another 2020 ornament. Actually gonna make him a little bit bigger. You know, I actually think I have this other little image of the virus that I like a little bit better, so I'm going to use that one. It's just a little bit bigger in the center for putting the numbers in. Yeah, a little bit more space. I also want to put some, they have these, the virus has holes in it, and I think it'd be fun to have those like punched out. So I'm just going to make a couple little circles. That. Alt and Shift so that it's a perfect circle. I'm going to do that. Another little guy here, different sizes. Something like this. And just kind of play around with them until you get them. I don't want them to look too uniform. Let's see, maybe something like this. I don't want it to compete with the words. Make this one a little bit smaller maybe. Put up here. And since these are going to be punched out of the wood, which is the negative space here, I'm going to make them lines. There we go. That looks kind of neat. And then just a little bit of fine tuning here. And now that everything is laid out, we're going to have this part engraved, and then these are going to be cut out. So you always want to fill your engrave and then just do a line of the smallest point size for your cuts. The next step you want to do is to control the order in which your items print so that you can print more efficiently. By default, if you leave this all the same color, the Glowforge printer will print your engraves like this. One whole line all the way across, and then all the way back, and then another line all the way across. And that takes a really long time. In order to speed up your prints, I recommend that you go to the Glowforge forums and search for swatch library. Download the Glowforge swatch library and then import it into Illustrator by going to swatches, open swatch library. It will be in your user defined, and then click Glowforge. That will load the Glowforge swatch library, which was made by a user so that it represents the order in which the Glowforge UI will print your designs. So it will print this blue, you know, black is first. However, you want to move your cut lines to be last. And I will show you when we get into the UI. The second color is dark blue. So we're going to make this engrave the dark blue. And dark green's the next one. And so on. We'll keep the same order so that these will print in order. And so I'm going to save this as Ornaments L1. So this is line 1, SVG. Save. And check the Glowforge user forums for the settings. SVGs should be 1:1, convert to outline, embed, decimal places at least 3, and that's on 8, and make sure none of these boxes are checked. Click OK. And then we go to the Glowforge UI and we click Create, Upload from File, and we're going to upload Ornaments L1, our first line. And this processing part is going to go a lot faster when we do it line by line as opposed to doing them all at once. And now Glowforge has loaded the file onto the image of my print bed. As you can see, I have actually already printed a couple test lines on this same piece of wood here. So I can actually take line 1 and just move it down. In fact, I am just going to put these here and continue this line. You can do some edits within the UI, like I can go ahead and delete that guy there since I already printed him. You can print right over your sticker for proof grade material. And now I'm going to get my Glowforge ready for the print. The first step is to switch it on and then open up the lid. And I am going to reuse a test sheet that I already tried some ornaments on. So that fits right in here. I did put some masking tape on either side so that I could mark exactly where to place my sheets. So I'm going to set that in, and I use these magnets to hold it in place because sometimes the wood can move or it can be bowed. So you want to make sure to place your magnets very far outside of where you're going to be printing, of course. Crumb tray up. And now you can see that it is going to go ahead and do a scan of the bed. Since the printer was turned off, it needs to recenter the head of the printer and recalibrate before it will be ready to print. And this just takes a couple minutes. And while it's doing that, it will be the perfect time for me to show you how I've set up the file in the UI. And remember how I said that you want to make sure your cuts are the very last step, so they're all the way down here. And we've got our engraves set up. And because we made them different colors, we're able to do them in different steps. And that's exactly what we want. So this first one, I want to be the first step. So when I hover over it, it's going to highlight which one that is. And our color coding was correct. It is the first step, is the one I want to be first, right here. The second step is this one, correct again. Third is there. And so they're all in the correct order, automatically on import because I used those color swatches. I don't have to sit and try to reorder them. And so now that this is all set up correctly, all I want to do is check my settings that I wrote down. I always start with the proof grade settings. Now you always want to do that because I am using the proof grade material, the medium maple plywood. I definitely want to make sure I'm using the settings for that. However, every laser cutter is different. So start with proof grade settings and then test. And that's why I have, you know, these previous rows of print, because I tested to get the optimal settings for my printer. And I wrote down, I want the high def graphic, which is HD. And this is the proof grade setting. Speed 100, power of 16. Now I needed a little bit more power on mine, so I actually kicked it up to 30 in order for it to engrave as deeply and boldly as I want to look. So that's all I'm changing, and I have to change it for each step. HD. I'm just changing the power to 30. HD. Now, if I wanted to, if I was really testing like I was before, I could make each one of these steps a little bit different on the speed and a little bit different on the power. And that is the other reason why you want to make each individual thing that you're doing a different color, so that you can have the control to change them. And for the proof grade cut, the only thing I'm going to change is that I am going to do 3 passes, because for whatever reason, if I only do 1 or 2, it doesn't quite cut it all the way through the backside. And that's it. Those are all my settings. I'm going to go ahead and click print. So right now it's preparing the print. It's auto-focusing the head. And now it has loaded the print. It is estimating it's going to take about half an hour to print 1 full line of ornaments, which is actually pretty fast. It's going to engrave and cut out 5 different ornaments in about 30 minutes. And since it's all ready to go, I'm gonna hit that happy glowing button. Boom! And there it goes. Precisely to the spot where I told it to. And now the ornaments are all done and ready to be taken out. And popping these guys out of the wood is probably one of my favorite parts. It's just so satisfying. You're looking pretty great. And then for the tiny holes, you use a little pair of pliers to pop them out. And after that part is all done, you just want to peel off the coating. And see, when you peel off the coating, all of this part that looks burned here will reveal that the wood underneath was protected by the coating, and it's not actually burned at all. Just look at those nice edges. So satisfying. Just going to add some string. A little gift tag in a bow, and it's ready to go. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed learning how I made these cool ornaments on my Glowforge Laser Cutter. If you have any questions about how I made the artwork or set up the file for printing on the Glowforge, please put them in the comments below. I always read the comments and I want to help you achieve your project goals as well. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then ring that bell so you can get notified when I make new content. I make a new video every week. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!